Hello, hello. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Welcome, welcome. Let's see if I can find your chats. Feel free to say hi. Hello, Heidi from Finland. Feel free to just say hi or let me know what you like. Let me know what you're looking for today in the chat. I've had a request here you guys like what's happening with my mustache? This is very weird. I've had a request for hips today already, but if anybody else has stuff they want to work on, feel free to throw that in. If you feel like listening to the same music as me. Can you see that? Chill Hop Essentials, Summer 2021. Probably turn that off when we get to the meditative parts. Healthy Living with Debbie asks for teacups. Can do. Hello, Shinsky Tube. I assume that's Sarah's mom, who we have visiting in town and is watching from the living room. All right. Well, if you don't have too many more requests, we're just going to get going. So find yourself a little space. Hello, Siret from Chile. Hello, Heidi from Germany, Deutschland. All right, find your space, find your space. Find your camera angles. We're going to start with our feet under our shoulders, and we'll just get going with our quintessential warm-up, knocking on the door of life. You're just going to turn from the hips and waist, give your belly a little slap with an open palm, give your low back a little massage with a light fist. Giving the spine a little twist. And just start to take a few deep breaths. Let's bring that front hand a little higher. Come up to your rib cage, just below your chest. Stimulate the liver and stomach there. Come up to the chest, just below the collarbone. I see your request for back. So what do we got? Back, hips, teacups. And over the shoulder. Slap that spot between the neck and shoulder. Just waking up the body to start. Come back to the chest. Rib cage. Belly. We're just going to slow down into water waves. The hands keep going around us. We keep turning from the hips and waist, but now we're not knocking the body. We're just brushing through the air with the fingers. And you just imagine you're standing in a shallow lake. Your fingertips are brushing the surface. With the lips closed, we'll just take a few deep breaths, deep and slow through the nose. Just imagine like our stress, tension, and worries are just melting off our body into that lake. Relax the center. Very nice. Let's take our legs a little wider. You're going to point the toes out. Take your right hand on the hip, left palm face up. We're going to bend the knees a bit. We're just going to start to shift the weight left and right. We're going to find a little version of the teacup exercise that we do with this weight shift. So here as we shift over to the right, we're going to bring the left hand over. The hand's going to go under the arm as we shift over to the left. Shift to the right, hand comes across. Shift to the left, hand over the head. Or back where we started. So in this one, we try to keep the palm face up the whole time, as though we were balancing a teacup in the palm. And just remember, whichever way the arm goes, the weight shifts to that side. Nice one to open up wrists and shoulders. And also get a little strength in the legs and open the hips here. You can always sink a little deeper, widen the stance if you want more challenge. And if this is too much for you, make it a little narrower and a little higher up. Let's do the other side. Come across, under, across, over, cross, under, cross, over. Nice deep breath through the nose. As Patrick McEwen says with Breathwork, you want to find LSD, light, soft, and deep. I use LSD every day by that definition. Let's come around, relax. Let's just find a little stretch. You're going to point your toes forward. We're going to slide down into a stretch. We'll find there's a little twisting stretch. So we're going to try to find a place where we can keep our back straight. So keeping the back straight might mean we're got our hands up here at the thighs. Might mean we can go a little lower at the shins. But you just don't want to go so low that you start to round your spine here. Just for this one. Try to keep a straight back. We're going to take both hands over to one leg and lift the opposite arm. Or lift the arm on that side, really. And we're going to come down, try to keep that straight spine. Over for the other leg. Lift the arm on that side. So we're going to twist around that straight spine. Come down across. Reach for the leg, lift the arm, and twist again around a straight spine. Really try not to round forward. It kind of will happen automatically. It requires quite a bit of effort in the back to keep the spine straight in this position. So don't be lazy. And don't try to fold deeper than you're ready for. In general, when the spine is rounded forward, the twisting motion can cause a lot of stress to the discs. So it's fine to round forward and it's fine to twist, but putting them both together can be a little stressful on the discs between the vertebrae. Let's do one more. Hold on each side. Let's hold for a couple breaths. This is when we're looking to pull the stretch of the outer hamstring or IT band. Ready to come across, hold on the other side. Bring it down. Soften the knees, roll it up. Very good. Let's step it in. Give it a shake. Very nice. Just checking on you guys. Okay, find your feet under the shoulders. Palms holding a chi ball. We're going to find a couple animals from our 5-animal Dao Yen. We're going to do today the dragon and the snake. So the dragon's a really good one to open the lower back, waist, and hips. And the snake is a great one to open the groin and strengthen the legs and spine. So starting with our dragon, we're holding this chi ball. Chi ball is the size of your abdomen. So one hand is the height of the pelvis, other hand is just below the sternum. Like you're holding your abdominal cavity here, all the organs there between the hands. And what we're going to do here is take a step. So with the right hand underneath the ball, that means we're going to step to the right. So give a little weight shift to the left first. Pick up the right foot, step out. Then turn on the right heel. It's going to point the right toes to the right. Left heel on this one, the heel's going to slide a little back so the foot winds up pointed sort of towards the corner of the room. Knees bent over the ankle. And the bottom hand, the right hand, is like it's going to throw a frisbee. And the left hand is like it's going to press up against the ceiling. Now you're going to turn away from me. That right arm's going to pull you back into a twist. You're going to twist through your spine, twist your neck, look towards that hand. And even think about rotating the hips to the right. So the right hip pulls back, left hip goes forward, looking for a stretch on the left hip flexor. We're going to unwind back to the center, turn the toes forward, spiral the hands. Right hand comes on top, left hand on the bottom. And then we just bring that right foot back in wherever you can. We're standing back under the shoulders with the feet. Pause here, take one deep breath. We're again holding the chi ball that encapsulates the abdominal cavity. We'll go with you again. Weight on the right foot. Take a step to the left. Turn on the left heel. Right heel slides back a little bit. Right hand presses the ceiling. Left hand throws a frisbee. And it keeps going to pull us into the twist. Rotate your hips as well, stretching now the front of the right hip. If you don't feel a stretch, you can think even more about tucking the tailbone to pull the hip away from the femur thigh. Good, unwind to the center, toes forward, hands spiral to the chi ball, left hand on top, step it in. Drop your tailbone. This is meant to be sort of one of our Janjuan postures, standing like a tree. So we do pause here, try to find good structure with the tailbone dropping, the crown lifting. Feel your deep breath massage your organs. All right, so now that we know the movement a little more, we're going to try to do it with a little more flow. Don't worry if it feels awkward. I do bring this in quite a bit to my classes, so you'll find this one again if it feels weird the first time. Well, here, let's shift to the left. We're going to step right. As we step, we're going to throw the frisbee. The left hand's going to go up. Right hand's going to pull us back into the twist. Look for that stretch on the left hip. Back to the center. Spiral it in, step it in. Right hand winds up on top of the chi ball. Set yourself up again. Nice, good posture, nice deep breath. Directing the chi to the space between the hands and its mirrored space inside the body. Weight in the right foot. Stepping left, we're throwing the frisbee. The right hand's going up, left hand's going out as the feet go into position. And then it pulls us into that stretch. Twist and stretch. Nice deep breath. Your stance doesn't have to be this long. It can always be a little shorter step. Come back to the center. Spiral the hands and step it in. Left hand lands on top. Hold the chi ball. Nice deep breath. We'll just do one more each side. So weight in the left foot. Stepping right, throw the frisbee. Left hand goes up, right hand out. Pulling you into a twist to your right. So we're twisting over the front leg. Nice deep breath. Back to the center. Spiral it in, step it in. Find the chi ball, deep breath. Weight in the right foot. Last one, step left. Float the hands out, turn on the feet. Find that twist, look for that stretch on the right hip. Back to the center. Step it in. Find your chi ball. And we're going to close the dragon with the Tai Chi palm. So the hands are going to float up. I'm just going to show you here. You're going to hold one thumb with a fist, whichever feels more comfortable. You're going to wrap the fingers behind the fist. And you're going to drop it down to your lower abdomen. That same standing position. The hands are held against now, the lower abdomen, the lower dantian. You're just going to pause here. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths, sinking those breaths down to the lower abdomen. Sinking the chi to the dantian. This anchor point within the body. We find stillness of mind, calm of heart, rejuvenation of body. When we breathe and pay attention here. Good, let that go. Very nice. So our dragon was for the water regions of the body, the waist, the hips, the lower back. So that's the kind of the kidney animal. The snake now is the earth animal, at least in this set. Sometimes snake is water. It gets very confusing because every school has their own like set of animals and they link them to the elements in different ways. But in this system, the snake is earth. I guess because the snake crawls across the earth and the earth element is the digestion, the stomach. And what does the snake do? It doesn't chew its prey, it doesn't bite off pieces of its prey, but it swallows the prey whole and has a pretty powerful digestion to deal with all the fur and horns and everything. So snake for this one is earth element, stomach animal, or sometimes the spleen, they say. So that spleen channel comes up the inside of the leg. So that's the area we're going to be stretching. And then we're going to be thinking about getting as low as we can to the earth as we do this. But there's sort of the traditional way of doing this one, and then there's the one that's going to be safe for like the average person. So I'll just show you really quickly what it looks like. This one's a little more complicated than the dragon. You probably just want to watch it one time. It starts off in the same posture. That posture goes from a ball into 2 snakes. Your hands are the snakes, so we get a little theatrical with this one. It takes a big step, drops one hand down. You can get super low if you like, and comes across. And we strengthen the spine and waist. We drop it down again as low as you like. Come across, reach, strengthen the waist. I'm doing this way quicker than we're going to do it. Drop down, come across, strengthen the waist. We do it 3 times, and then it comes back to the ball, and then we go the other way. So if that looks like super hard and like you're not a gymnast or you're intimidated, don't worry. You can just do it like this. Stepping a smaller step and doing a much, much smaller lunge. So anything between this and this is totally acceptable. Okay. So we would come across and then a smaller lunge. Come across, smaller lunge. The idea is to get as low to the earth as you can, but how far that is going to be very different depending on your hips, knees, flexibility, strength, all that kind of stuff. So meet me over on the left side of the room, just so you have a little bit of, you just want enough space to take that step over to your right. You're going to find a chi ball, let's say the left hand on top. This one I'll show you from the front, so you're going to be mirroring me. So we're going to shift our weight to the left foot. We're going to pivot, picking up the right heel and turning on the right toe mound. Let's try that again. Plant the heel, lift the heel, pivot, weights in the left foot. This ball is going to roll out until it becomes 2 snakes. The thing we think about the snakes is not the whole exercise, but most of it, they're parallel to the earth, the palms, parallel to the earth. Okay, so let's try that all at once. Here, left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. As the ball rolls, we pivot. Chi ball, pivot. Chi ball, pivot. Good, hold here. Now let's go through this slow. You're going to take a step. You can start with a small step. See how that feels. Our snakes kind of strike as we step. You can try a big step if you like, or anything in between. You're going to feel what's right for you on this one. Generally, the toes are going to be pointed out here. You're going to take your left hand down, palm face towards the earth. We wind up with this staircase feeling in the hands. Staircase feeling. That palm is flat to the earth. This palm is flat to the earth. We're weighted in the right leg. And we're going to try to stay as low as we can as we crawl across the earth and reach long, reaching away from that foot. So we have one long line, leg, spine, arms. We're not curved over. Lots of people are going to be doing this. So really try to make an effort. Drop that right hand down. Left hand stays up. You wind up with a staircase in the arms. Crawl across the earth. Reaching long. Long line, not a curve, not a willow branch falling over. Long line. Drop the left hand down. Sink to the right. Crawl across is our last one. Reach. Drop right hand down. Find that staircase. And then this time as we come across, we're just going to try to step it in. You can jump in. Or if that feels weird, you can just heel toe it in until you get yourself there. We're going to bring the hands around. This time the right hand on top. Feet under the shoulders. Take a little break here. A couple deep breaths. Feel the breath massaging all those organs below the hand, below the right hand. Shift your weight to the right, lift the left heel, pivot, roll the ball, two snakes. Snakes are going to strike. So we're going to take whatever size step feels appropriate for you. Snake strike. Right hand goes down, left hand stays up. Sinking to the left knee. If you can get a stretch here along that spleen line, that's great. If not, it's fine. I'm going to crawl across. Reach long. Drop the left hand down. Crawl across. Reach long. So at this point, the hands aren't parallel to the floor. This is the only point. They come here, then they are parallel. So here the hands go kind of diagonal. And here they go parallel. That's our last one. We're going to step over to the left. Find our chi ball. Nice deep breath. We'll close the snake as well with the Tai Chi palm. Floating hands up. Holding the thumb. Wrapping the fingers behind. Dropping it down. Down to the lower abdomen. You'll see why we call it the Tai Chi palm. It looks like that Tai Chi or Yin Yang symbol. Hold that over the belly. Sink your tailbone. Relax. Sink your breath. Feel the breath move the hands here. Belly moving slowly with the breath. Light, slow, and deep. Okay, let's release that. Give it a shake. Very nice. So all kinds of movements named after animals in Qigong. Stuff inspired by animals. But some of them are these very specific 5 animal sets. It's actually the oldest form of Qigong that we know of that was like written down. They think Qigong might be so old that it actually predates writing. So it's hard to say how old it is. It may have just kind of came right out of shamanism. The shamans were, at least in the northern parts of the planet, were always sort of embodying animals as part of their healing ritual. And so there's probably some point, there's probably a gray area where that slowly kind of transformed into these more organized memorized sets of movements based on these animals. So there's probably no hard line where shamanism ended and Qigong began. But anyway, so aside from those specific sets of 5 animals, there's all kinds of movements that are just inspired by animals. So here's another one. This is called the dragon stretches its tail. So this is not related to another 4 animals, just the dragon on its own. So in this one, we're going to stretch the upper body. You're going to press away with the right hand. Turn the palms towards you, come in. You're going to turn, press away. We're looking for a little stretch down the right palm and forearm. And then relax. So the left arm is almost just for decoration here, I guess. We're going to hold the stretch now and turn the head as far as you can over the left shoulder. And then relax, and again, look at the right palm. So just kind of slowly pulse in and out of this. Press the palms, turn the head. And relax, look at the hands. Use our breath here. I like to inhale as I stretch. And exhale as I release. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, release. With all our stretches in Qigong, you're really just trying to find the point where you feel the stretch. We're not trying to push super hard into that stretch. We're just really just finding the edge. Where's the stretch happen? We hang out there and release. Let's hold on this last one. We really don't want to overstretch. Sometimes overstretching will actually make the muscle tighten up more to protect itself. You can also injure yourself slowly over time. Putting too much stress on the tendon to bone connection, things like that. Hold the stretch, but bring the arm down just 45 degrees. Just getting a little different angle here for the stretch. Nice deep breath. Let's relax, release. Bring it up on the left. So both hands are pressing, but it's just the left hand here that's trying to get that stretch. Again, we pulse, pressing with the hand, and turning the chin over the shoulder. Exhale, relax, look at the hand. Inhale, press and turn. Now we'll hold the stretch. Take it down 45 degrees. Nice deep breath. And relax. Give those arms a shake and give those shoulders a roll. Take your hands on the hips, give your hips a little circle. We'll do a little bit for the hips here. Let's try to just some hip circles, warm up those hips. Let's go the other direction. All right, back to the center. So we're going to try to stretch out some of these glute muscles using a figure 4. If you do yoga, you'll know this is like a standing pigeon. We're going to do the sort of the Qigong version. We call the heron spreads its wings. Or I call it that because I learned the name of this exercise when I learned how to do it. Maybe it doesn't have one. So I just bring this chair so I can show you. If you need to, you can hold on to something like this as we do it. This is a good balance exercise if you don't hold on to something. But if you need to, grab something to help yourself balance. You can also do this kind of from sitting in a chair if you really need to. All right, so what we're going to do is stand on one leg, cross the ankle over the thigh. Ankle over the thigh. So you can see why they call this a figure 4. Looks like a number 4 on your legs. Let's just try that for a sec. So just come up, cross the ankle, come down. The ankle should be crossed just about right above the knee. Okay, so we've got that feel for that. Let's find the stretch. So now you're going to cross the ankle and send the hips back. Chest folds forward. So we're trying to fold at the hip joints here. And then we come back up. So as we often do in Qigong, we're just going to move very gradually, gently in and out of the stretch. Again, don't try to push super hard into the stretch. Just come to where you feel it and then back out. Come to where you just start to feel the stretch and back out. So it's really important that we find this stretch at the back of the hip and not at the knee. If you're feeling the stretch in your knee, you're doing it wrong. Your knee should never feel a stretch. It probably means you're twisting the knee, meaning twisting this femur and the shin away from each other. You want to keep those two in a nice line together. So sometimes it helps to flex the foot to light up these muscles along the shin, to keep it from twisting away from the thigh. Want the knee nice and strong and getting the hips flexible here. Okay, so if you feel free to keep holding on to something or even holding on to this knee and foot to keep them stable. If you're feeling ready, we like a little more challenge, you can add the heron wings here. We're going to keep our palms face up, spiral under as we fold. Keep the palms face up, spiral under and out. We spiral under the arms, fold, spiral under and out. A nice exercise, opening the wrists, shoulders now, opening the hip with that stretch, and working our balance. And of course, feel free to forget what I'm doing with the arms here. Just hold on to a wall or whatever you need to, or even do this sitting down if you need. Very nice. We're going to hold the stretch. Fold, stretch, hold. Get it back up. Let's hold on the other side. Back up. Release, shake it out. Very nice. All right, if that felt hard on your balance, no worries. We're going to do one to strengthen our balance right now. We're going to be standing on the left foot. This one is called star feet. Doesn't actually come from Qigong. This is just a physical therapy exercise. We're going to make a little star pattern with the foot. So we kick forward, diagonal, sidewards, diagonal back, backwards, forward, diagonal, sidewards, diagonal back, straight back. So 5 kicks in these 5 directions that are meant to throw you a little bit off balance. This is too easy. You can make bigger, more jerky kicks. If it's too hard, make smaller, gentler kicks. And if it's really hard, you can touch the floor after each kick. Just come back, pause, post your foot. Okay, just a couple more rounds. Should feel this really challenging, that standing foot, working those muscles. Good, let's switch sides. Whenever I want to balance, I always start with spreading the toes of the standing foot, spread them out, get a nice wide base. 5 directions. forward, diagonal, side, diagonal, back. Two more rounds. Good, shake it out. Very nice. Let's just find a stretch here. We're going to stretch our back. What we're going to do is, we call this the anchor floats to the bottom of the seafloor. You think of our hands as real heavy, like they're anchors that are going to pull us down. We're going to try to round our spine forward one vertebra at a time until we're hanging over the floor with the back muscles releasing. So let's try it. We're going to start with our chin dropping, with the neck round. Once the neck can't round anymore, the hands get heavy, start to pull us down. You let the spine round one vertebra at a time. Once that can't go anymore, the hips start to fold, the knees bend. You're going to come down just until your hands are just above the floor. Letting your back stretch and relax. And if you feel that you need more, you can fold the hands and the elbows. That way you can come lower to the floor. The idea is to not let your hands or arms rest on the floor because you want that weight hanging to gently pull on your spine and back. Really relax your head, your neck, let your weight of your head pull on your spine. Relax your back and shoulders, let the arms pull gently. We're slowly going to roll it up, very slow, tuck the tailbone. And here, think about the spine now stacking from bottom to top. The lower spine starts to stack. Mid spine, upper spine, shoulders, and neck. Very nice. Let's give it a shake. Shake the body. Bouncing from the feet. Rest of the body is just relaxing. You can let out a few sighing breaths. Clear your stress and tension. Breath in the nose and out the mouth. Heels into the floor. And relax. Nice deep breath. Feel your body. Just pause. Feel your breath. Good time to switch the music to something more ambient if you got it. Find our palms face down. Finding the Wuji position. Face down. They're about shoulder width. They're just a little forward of your hips. You have a gentle curve going down your elbows and wrists instead of being locked up or way forward. Kind of in between. It's almost as though we had a tabletop here. And if you lean forward, your weight would just press into the tabletop. You could push yourself up. Find your tailbone like a weight hangs from it. Crown of your head like a helium balloon is tied to it. Let's find a few deep breaths here. It's building the structure into the body that we use to generate and move the chi. Very nice. We're going to step back with the left foot. So wind up in just a little staggered stance like so. Left foot back. Palms are come up to the height of the solar plexus, the stomach. It's a nice one for digestion and centeredness and groundedness. We call grinding tofu. So what we're going to do is shift forward. Hands reach forward. Circle around behind as we shift backwards. The hands come in towards the belly again. We shift forwards. Hands go out and around. So the hands are sort of, I don't know, it's like the shape of a kidney bean almost. They come around, they come into the waist, and then they're circling around the waist. Palms staying face down. Then reach forward and around. Coming back and into the waist. And then they come around the waist as we shift forwards. You can see my legs shifting back, weight in the back leg, and shifting forwards, weight in the front leg. It's very subtle shifts. We're not leaning back. We're leaning forward. We're staying upright in the spine. We're not over bending the knees. We're not going over the toes with the knees. It's very subtle. It's relaxed. Balance of structure and flow. You can inhale as we go back. Exhale as we go forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. You can just start to imagine that we're gathering golden light from the earth. It's going up into the palms. We're bringing it into the stomach, spleen, pancreas, into this earth center region of the body, at the solar plexus. The golden light comes in to strengthen the digestion, to create a sense of emotional centeredness and balance, and mentally and spiritually a sense of equanimity, a balanced mind. Stability, non-reactivity. Taking good and bad in equal measure. Dissolving worry. Dissolving overthinking. Gather that golden light. I'm going to step back up with the left foot. Step back with the right. Hands go out and around. Into the waist at the level of the solar plexus. Go around the body. Hands are tracing a little circle, half circle. And then go up, trace a big half circle. Into the waist, trace a small half circle around the waist. Go out, trace a big half circle. Shifting backwards, inhaling, keep that spine upright. Shifting forwards, exhale, upright spine, no leaning. Inhale back. Exhale forward. A lot of people think Qigong is all about the art of flow. So they see a movement like this and they'll start looking like they're at a Burning Man or Grateful Dead concert as they do it. And flow is a big part of Qigong. And it's a part that's missing from most Western, let's say, fitness stuff. But flow isn't all there is in Qigong. Flow is only half the picture. We still have half of our mindset on structure. So just like a river depends both on the water and the banks of the river, the earth, the structure and the flow work together to create the power. Imagine those hands gathering that golden light. As the light from that nuclear core of our planet is shining up straight through the crust, through the magma. We're gathering that golden light, bringing it in to our own core, our digestive center, solar plexus. Very good. Let's step it up. Take the palms face up under the lower abdomen now. So if our earth center is up here at the upper abdomen, here at the lower abdomen, we have what we usually call the dantian, but it's also referred to as the water center. So the energy of the dantian relates to our energy of the kidneys that we often talk about. They pretty much mirror each other's energy. So this one, we're going to imagine we have a pool of blue light. You can think of it as deep blue light, unlike this sky blue behind me. Think of a deep blue pool of light. Like your hands are supporting that at the lower abdomen. Think of this deep blue light as representing tranquility of mind, stillness, quiet, wisdom, peace, a depth to our energy, to our being, and introspectiveness. Deep blue light. We'll move into a little flow with that called Zen circles. So we're going to use our left hand, coming up on the right, down on the left, painting a circle with that hand. Fingers soft like a paintbrush. Again, we're going to keep the spine upright, the weight centered here. But feel a little turn from the hips. My hips are doing this. That turn from the hips is helping that circle to form. That circle's just out in front of you. So often I'll see people kind of do this. It comes over the head. They get some kind of huge motion. The circle's just out in front. It's a smallish circle, going no higher than your face, no lower than your pelvis. There's just a soft bend in the elbow, so it's not locked forward. Just a little soft. And combine the breath here, exhaling through the body. Inhale over the top. Exhale through the body. Inhale over the top. And in this phase of our Qigong practice, all the breath should be through the nose, both in and out, all through the nose. Bring that left hand in under the dantian, holding that pool of blue light. Then take the right hand out. Now the right hand is gathering the chi, going down on the right and up on the left. Again, we're doing a little gyration from the hip. Inhaling over the top. Exhaling through the bottom. Add a little visualization. Here you can imagine you're looking over the ocean at night. And the stars in the sky and the night sky are glowing with a dark blue light, indigo, dark blue. And you're just gathering all that dark blue night of the ocean and the night sky. It's like you're spiraling it all in towards your lower abdomen. Gathering that blue light as wisdom, as inner stillness, as a refilling of the deepest layers of your energy. Bring it in under the navel. Have just a little bit of space between your hands. So instead of them touching, just a tiny bit separate. We're supporting that energy at the dantian from underneath. Imagine the blue light collecting there. Then we're going to float the hands up and do a little different version of pulling down the sky here. Wash the chi through the body by crossing the centers of the palms over the crown of the head. Then we're going to scan downwards, down the center line of the body, passing through the earth center and the water center where we pause and release. So it should be the centers of your palms crossing over each other, so not the fingers or the wrists, but the very center of the palm. Crossed over, and like that generates a beam of white light from the hands. Beam of white light, like we reach to the sky, gather white light, cross the centers of the palms, and that white light just shines through the energy centers of the body, opening and clearing them, clearing any obstruction to the flow of chi. I'm going to inhale up and exhale to wash it down. All the breath here again through the nose, inhaling up. We're also going to touch our tongue gently against the roof of the mouth. not against the teeth, but behind the teeth. Touch the tongue against the roof of the mouth. Not only good structure for your mouth and sinuses, but good structure for the flow of energy to descend downward from the head, down the throat, down into the dantian. Breathing through the nose, tongue touching roof of the mouth, hands guiding white light down the center of the body. Think of this white light as clarifying, dissolving stuck energy. Fold it over the belly, step it in. Relax into the tree and the wind. Flowing breeze, swaying willow. Here we focus more on the flow than the structure. Let the body relax, even the feet, the knees, and the hips relax. We don't tell the body how to move, we just relax the muscles more and more. Allow the sway to come through us. Really, the only part of the body that isn't simply softening and relaxing is the top of the head, which again, we imagine like there's a helium balloon tied to it that gently pulls it upwards. Everything else just seems to relax away from that. Even the breath, we just allow to be natural here. Again, still all through the nose, tongue touching roof of the mouth. Couple more breaths. Just relax. And we're going to step it out, circle the belly. Deep breaths, just helping the chi to center. Working with our two most stabilizing elements here, the earth and the water center. So you feel like the chi is just moving between them, circulating between them, but inevitably storing at the water center. Take it down just below the navel. Pause here, a deep breath in. And just let it go with a big sigh. Very nice. As usual, we don't want the chi to get stuck, so if anywhere feels stiff in your body, feel free to give those areas a stretch or a swirl or a twist or a massage. All right. Good stuff, everybody. Thanks so much for joining our Sunday Chi Flow with Nick Loffree. Hey, Ellie, good to see you. Everybody check out Ellie. He has one of the most amazing Qigong channels on YouTube, in my opinion. A good friend of mine from San Francisco. Thanks, Relaxed Aware Awake. Thanks, Marcia. Feel free to hang out for a few minutes and pick my brain. I know I'm often just on here, teach Qigong, and then I'm out. But if you have questions burning in your mind about Qigong or any of my offerings, really, feel free to just pick my brain for a bit while I sip on my coffee. Thanks, Debbie. You need a little vacation from your vacation, eh? Thanks, Inga. Thanks, Heidi. Oh, so I'm starting a new thing. Starting to run some weekend workshops. So the first one I'm going to run is called bioenergetic Yetis. First one is for sleep. So if you're interested in Qigong, Chinese medicine, biohacking, biology, everything that is in my little toolkit that I like to throw at sleep when I'm having trouble or when my clients have trouble, feel free to join me. Is it this weekend or next weekend? It is. Why doesn't this show the date? I gotta click it. Hold on. It is Saturday, July 24th. So 2 weeks from now on Saturday. Qigong for sleep and all kinds of other fun tricks for sleep. You might like my, if you haven't checked it out already, I published a great YouTube video the other day, Qigong for sleep. Nice little routine. We'll be learning even more tips and tricks in this little workshop. So if you want to come join me, I believe it's an hour and a half or 2 hour workshop. And you can find that on my VIA session. So if you haven't been to that, it's just a little website. It's actually really cool. You know, everybody's running everything on Zoom these days, and it's a big pain in the butt. Like, you got to send out an email with the Zoom link, and then people got to pay you separately through PayPal, and everybody's got to figure out all these different things to keep track of who's attending. And at least on my end, it's a big pain in the butt. So I found this website called VIA Session. So the link to that is below in the description, viasession.com/Nick Loffree. And they basically just make you a web page that shows like, oh, here's my weekly classes, and you can sign up for them or pay for them or whatever, and it generates the Zoom link for you. And I just found out they also let you do one-off events. So if you look for my events section on that website, you'll see the first one coming out, which is this sleep workshop, which I thought would be a good idea because we're in this crazy heat wave in the Pacific Northwest, and the heat in summer can make it that can often be the hardest time for people to sleep. Heat is just one element that makes sleep difficult. It's also the fire season. Fire's like the heart element season, and that overactive heart also can create issues sleeping. Heart, like spiritually, not just the heart beating too fast or something. So if you want to come catch that soon, that'll be a really fun little event. Melia Kua says, thanks so much. Apparently LSD was just the medicine I was needing today. Isn't that a fun one? Light, soft, deep breathing. Who said that? Patrick McEwen. Am I saying that wrong? Is that the wrong guy? I keep mixing Patrick, the author of this book on breathing. I keep mixing him up with, is it a fighter or an actor? I think it's an actor who has a similar name. So I hope I got the name right. But his book is called The Oxygen Advantage. And it's ironically not even about oxygen. It's about carbon dioxide, mostly in how carbon dioxide supports oxygen. But it's a very thick volume. If you want like more of a quick download of it, you could find, I did an interview with an expert on basically the same topic maybe a year ago. If you look back through my YouTube history, or just go to my talks and interviews playlist. It's an interview about CO2 and how CO2 is so beneficial, but we all, for whatever reason, we think of it as this toxin, but you actually need 20 times more of it than oxygen. So there's all these counterintuitive ways that CO2 plays a role in your health and your ability to respirate and your cell's ability to use energy and respirate. So, but if you want to really deep dive into it, The Oxygen Advantage by, I think the guy's name is Patrick McEwen. He's an Irish guy. And you really put together a whole lot of science on breathwork and breathing exercises. It's a really popular book right now, so maybe most of you already heard of it anyways. Anyways, good seeing you guys. What else do I have going on? Oh, next round of the teacher training starts in September. So if you ever wanted to teach Qigong or just spend 12 weeks diving real deep into it with me, that'll be starting soon. So get that. We had the super early bird discount, and now we have my my friend was making fun of me because I've been calling it the regular bird discount or the regular early bird discount, and she's like, "No, it's just the super bird, then the early bird." But I think it's funnier to say the super bird than the regular bird. Did any of you find that funny? I don't know. As long as I'm having to just sell things and do marketing, I hope it's entertaining to at least me to do it. But you can still get 15% off using code early15. Get 15% off the teacher training. And there's also payment plans available. It's only a 12-week program, but you can do a 12-month payment plan. So look at me naively trusting that you're going to pay for that the whole 12 months. But hopefully it helps somebody do it. I know when I was myself, trying to go to these trainings, and I was, 20 years old, 22 years old, and I'm just, working for minimum wage and barely making ends meet. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to go and take all these trainings. It was very hard, and I wound up doing a lot of work trading and things like that. And a lot of people were very generous to me to help me be able to do that stuff. And so I hope to create, structures that help other people who, aren't necessarily super loaded to come and do some great training. Sorry, I just see here in your comment, Janet says, what is the difference between 8 brocades and 5 elements? It is actually really interesting because there's almost no difference. So the 5 elements is a theory. It's a theoretical system. And there's lots of different things that use that system. So acupuncture will use the 5 elements, which relate to the 12 different organ channels. So each element has 2 acupuncture channels that relate to an organ. One of them, the fire element, has 4 channels for whatever reason. And then in Qigong, we're also often using those 5 elements, whether it's thinking about those organ channels or the organ itself, or just the spiritual nature and metaphorical, philosophical nature of that element. And like, how do you be more like earth? Well, let's see, I could cultivate stability, right? Or things like, how do I be more like water? Well, I could be more fluid and relaxed. So that sort of thing. And so there's Qigong forms that are called like 5-element Qigong or 5-animal Qigong that uses the 5 elements. And usually when things in Qigong comes in sets of 5, it almost always means that they're trying to relate to those 5 elements or the organs that they relate to or whatever. Sometimes they even relate to planets, right? So you'll be like doing Qigong. It's like, I'm communicating with Jupiter because Jupiter relates to the wood element, and because the liver is the biggest organ and Jupiter is the biggest planet. And I don't know. I'm not sure about those Qigong techniques, but I think the mind and placebo has a lot of power that we can tap into with Qigong. And if, thinking about planets is what gives you that mental inspiration, that, could be transformative. Anyways, the 8 brocades is technically another 5-element Qigong set. Most of the movements in the 8 brocades relate to those organ channels and to those elements. They just kind of, instead of having 5 exercises, they have 8. So some of the exercises cover like 2 organs, which just, I don't know, just to be like really confusing. So there's like usually 2 exercises for water and 2 for metal, and it kind of winds up equaling 8 in the end. And I think some of them don't even relate to an element. So so the 8 brocades is kind of what you might say. It technically falls under the category of a 5-element Qigong. It just doesn't have 5 specific motions for those 5 specific elements. So 8 brocades is interesting because it's so old that there's like a million versions of it branched out. So every school you go to is going to have like a little different version of each one. Some of them they're just going to be totally different. Or at least some of the exercises will be like unrecognizable. And they're all going to have their own explanations for like what organ this affects and blah, blah, blah. So some of those older sets are really interesting in just how much variation you can find that's been done on them. Okay, well, if that's it, all the links to all the stuff I've talked about are below in the description. You can also find the replay to this and all my past live streams in my Patreon library where you can support me for $5 a month. Help me keep this stuff going. Keep making YouTube worth my while, because YouTube sure doesn't pay me much. And I'll get access to all these replays, and you can watch them as many times as you want. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, there's my sales pitches for the day. I'll see you guys next week, same time.